Finn versus History. I'm here once again with Horatio Gould. And today we are discussing the topic, the life of Chairman Mao.
Mao Zedong.
Now, you chose this.
Yes.
And having worked together for about, I don't know how many years it is on Finn versus Internet, you know that I cannot resist an accent.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm being set up here.
Yeah.
Why have we chosen? This could be the last episode.
Well, yeah, it's like exposure therapy.
Right.
For you to get over your problems, you've
or
got
is
to
it
be.
to just get, it's just thin the listeners, the herd.
Yeah. But therapists, they say if you're confronting your biggest fears, if you're scared of snakes, you should be in a room of snakes.
Is that a defence, though?
But if you're
in the
trying
court
to stop
of
doing
internet
racist
public
accents,
opinion,
we should do about a 3-hour episode on Chairman Mao Zedong.
You're. I mean, this guy's a fucking maniac.
Yeah, I'm a big Mao guy.
Yeah,
I love Mao. Mao's one. He's on the Mount Rushmore of despotic dictators, right?
I think he's possibly the GOAT.
That's maybe the pitch that's slowly going to come out.
Yeah,
I'm going to tentatively pitch Mao as the GOAT.
Numbers
wise, he blows everyone out the water.
Yeah, I mean, because in sort of like
arguably he's playing in an easier league. So it's a bit of stat padding.
Yeah, just like the Chinese league. It's
but
like when
numbers-wise,
like when Oscar from Chelsea went to the Chinese league and just dominated. Are you saying it's easier for a Chinese dictator to kill Chinese people than it is for a European?
100%.
Yeah,
way easier. But even having said that, his numbers still
phenomenal. Because I think in kind of pop history terms. Yeah. Hitler and Stalin is the kind of Messi Ronaldo.
Yeah, Hitler, and then it's more like Hitler's the one everyone knows about, and then you grow up a bit, and that's when you kind of get to you're like film bros. You start with like Dark Knight, and then you find Pulp Fiction. It's a little bit more of a deep cut, you know. Well, Stalin is where you get to know it, and you think that's kind of like the alt tape, but the real deep cut.
The real guy is Mao.
Mao. We don't know much about Mao.
Mao is like Kubrick's director's cut of Space Odyssey.
Yeah, and also what I would like to say in Mao's credit. Hitler burst onto the scene. He did a lot of damage in a couple of years, but he burnt out. You know,
like Michael Owen's hamstrings.
Like Michael Owen, right? But Mao, the consistency of that man, he outlived all of them. He did it from the 40s to it was up until the late 70s.
He was in his 80s, and he had dementia, and people were still just killing themselves because they were terrified of him.
So Joe Biden is like a sort of left of centre president who doesn't know what's going on. So it's kind of imagine that, but he's like a totalitarian, brutal, bloodthirsty dictator.
He's a sadist. It's terrifying, actually.
Yeah. If Hitler had Joe Bidenism, that's what it is.
Yeah, because Joe Biden would finish speaking and turn around and go, kill that guy, and that guy.
Because at least Joe Biden's instincts are just to smell a girl's hair. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he's not doing loads of damage.
Mao was smelling her hair and then pushing her out a window. So we're going to do a whole series on the life of Chairman Mao, because so I guess we'll start at the beginning, which is 1893.
Yeah. He's born in rural China in Shaoshan. There's going to be a lot of.
We're going to listen. You guys listening are just going to have to deal with it. Okay,
we're going to get a lot wrong.
We're going all in. We're going all in. I'm putting everything on red.
We're not doing phone a friend at any point.
No,
we're not doing 50-50.
I don't have any friends that we can. Weirdly though, this morning, so I used to live with.
Does Ishan count?
No. This morning, so I used to live with he's British, but his parents are from China.
Okay.
So I don't know what you call that. But he's called Fung, and this morning he texted me.
Is he called that, or did you call him
No,
that?
he's called Fung.
Okay, fine, right.
And he texted me this morning.
I said my name was Phil. I don't know why.
No, it's not Phil Wang. It's not Phil Wang.
Fung, no, it's Phil.
Finn, stop.
That's what I'm saying.
Chinesifying my name. Yeah. So he texted me for the first time in months. It's not called Kung Fu. It's called Fung, right? He texted me the first time in months this morning. I was like, it's as if he knows I'm about to go and do a podcast about Mao. Yeah.
What did he say?
He just said, I'm in South London year round.
Okay,
and I said, well, no, because I
don't speak Chinese.
I don't speak Chinese. How many times do I have to say this? I don't know what you're saying. So anyway, we're going all in. Yeah. I don't actually think it's racially insensitive to attempt accents. I think because
really?
Yeah, I think I've made that. I think I've made that quite clear.
Why are you saying that like it's news?
My point is, I think
a huge article. Apparently, Finn doesn't think it's racist to do accents. Shock, horror.
No, I think trying to hit the Chinese Shaoshan, trying to go for it.
That's fine. Yeah.
I think that's fine.
You can't be like Shaoshan.
No, that doesn't sound right. Well, so I was once, when I was interning with my friend, we were in Hungary and we had a tour by a guy who was, I don't know, Hungarian autism. It's very full on.
Right.
He had a fanny pack on that had a amplifier and a little wire to a Britney mic, and he was doing a guided tour. And he was like, yes, now we come to Budapest River. Anyway, he was trying to teach us, his whole shtick was about how Hungarian is the hardest language ever, which it is. It's fucked. Right. And
there's a lot of accents going on.
It's meant, but it's not. The alphabet's not even close
even like
to
the
anyone.
Hungarian footballers like Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on
The
there?
greatest footballer there ever was Anton Szoboszlai.
How Hungary are catching strays. Hungarian listeners are like, okay, it's about Mao.
China.
It's going to be about China.
5 minutes in. Fuck Hungary. Hungary can fuck off. Right, so he has his whole shtick, and the tour was about how Hungarian's the hardest language for foreigners to learn. And he was proud of that. So he then was like, get us to repeat a phrase, and I was trying it, and he was like, no, say it again, and then I did it like the fourth time. I did it in a Borat voice, like, but then and he went. Right. Yeah, exactly. That was it.
Yeah.
So my from that was kind of a core memory for me in terms of accents, because I now think if in my head it sounds racist.
Right. So one autistic tour guide gave you the okay, and now
he gave me the keys to the city. No, but if it sounds racist in my head, to other people it will sound like I'm trying.
Right. Is that
you know
your
when you
entire
hear
career?
you know when you you know when you hear your own voice and you go, oh, that's not how I think I sound.
Yeah.
That's my. So anyway,
but you're just about, God, that does sound really racist.
I've never had that
Probably
thought.
not.
No.
Yeah.
So,
there's a lot of places like the city in China. Do you know the city in China, Qingchong?
Isn't it Chongqing?
Right.
It's Chongqing.
It's Chongqing.
Yeah.
That is one of the biggest cities in the world. A lot of people are now going there. It's quite telling it's a bit of a tourist destination.
It's like,
and I think
it was called Qingchong. And much like coloured people is now people of colour,
right?
They've now say it's now Chongqing.
But every time I hear Chongqing, I'm just like, you got to change that. Because like you can't. My friend and I went to Chongqing, and it's like you can't. He's saying, "Where are you going?" He says, "Chongqing." I'm like, "Excuse me, you can't call Beijing that." That's crazy.
You heard about the Chongqing Olympics? They're holding the Olympics in Chongqing this year.
But it's that actual name, you know.
Yeah.
It's a tough
one. But then, listen. One of the forces that Mao feeds on is the foreign influence that China had for centuries before he came to power. And so the idea, I think they're basically holding that. They're going, no, we know this is a stupid name. We know that you really want to get it wrong and be racist. We're going to keep it because fuck you, we're China. Yeah. You know.
So Mao was born in the late 1800s.
1893.
Rural, peasant farmer.
Boxing Day, but that means nothing to him because they don't do Christmas. Yeah. What do they do?
So any other day. So they do Chinese New Year's, the huge thing.
But that's the end of January.
Yes, that's their big thing.
That's their big thing.
Yeah.
So
they go fucking hard because New Year's here is a bit fucking of a letdown.
Well, it's because you've gone hard on Christmas.
Yeah, but for these guys, that's the whole thing.
Yeah. So born December the 26th, 1893, in Shaoshan,
Yunnan province.
Shaoshan. It's all very. So my this is what my ear is telling me is that because it would be racist to say that all East Asia sounds the same. It doesn't. Right.
Okay. Good start.
Chinese is it's very soft.
Yeah.
Japanese, it's all this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you move to China, and then you go down to the dong 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 dong. That's
you know what.
Do you know what I mean?
It is so nearly racist, but you are correct on all fronts.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you are also trying to differentiate.
I'm really trying.
Yeah. Because you're not doing a blanket term. You're trying to.
What my ear is picking up. As
Koreans like Koreans more
Korean is a softer Japanese.
Yeah.
So Japanese.
I don't know what I expected the first 10 minutes to
Why did you pick this so early on? This is episode 5.
Right. Yeah.
Do you see why we open with the English Civil War? So Japanese, they sound they sound like they're straining for a shit. Koreans, the shit, they've had slightly more vegetables. The Squid Game, right? Yeah. China, they eat lots of veg.
Yeah.
It's very soft.
Yeah.
And then, so Indochina, it's all. Have you seen?
I have, yeah.
Have you seen that video of How to name your
fuck, man?
Asian baby? And he throws a colander down the stairs.
Yeah.
Goes, dun, 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 dun. I'm sending that to my wife. I'm sending that reel to my wife.
God,
anyway, so Mao is born and his mum chucks a colander down the stairs. And that's how we get Mao Zedong.
Yeah.
Mao Zedong.
Mao
Now,
Zedong.
Zedong is Chinese for brackets he, him.
Yep. So they chose his pronouns just
Because he's quite androgynous looking.
Yeah.
So he needs
I
to
guess
always...
so. I mean, the hairline gives it away for me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. That's a fucking ugly woman. It's a weird looking fella or a fuck ugly woman. But it's still unclear. So it's Mao, he, him. That's why he's always reminding people that he's
and then
he,
with
him.
like evil dictators' origin stories, what are the links here? So his dad was slapping him about. That's nearly always.
His dad's a big cunt.
Yeah, that's Hitler's dad was slapping him about, right?
Yeah.
I think Stalin's dad was slapping him about. That does seem to be a bit of a through line.
Mao,
right?
but also Mao's mum had a lot of infant deaths, which I think was pretty standard.
Yeah.
In this time in China. So sorry, 1893 to play, because obviously the people listening to this are complete morons.
Yeah. What place is this in Chinese history?
No, God no. In world events. Yeah. 1893, so late 1890s. Yeah. This is after the invention of the steam engine.
Yeah, quite recent.
But before flat pack furniture.
Fine. So yeah, they probably might not even heard of the steam engine, but it exists.
Yes, for China, this is sort of after rice. This is pretty much the only thing I can say for sure.
Before IKEA.
Before IKEA.
So if you said IKEA, they wouldn't go, it's actually IKEA. They wouldn't know it. They wouldn't even know what you're talking about at all.
No, they go, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's born, and his mum did something about, like, she did some ceremony to try and like make sure Mao made it through infancy, because she lost a lot of kids.
But then you never know how much of this is myth building later, don't you know? Do you know what I mean?
No, you're right. We should really discount everything we know. We clearly have the authority to discount sources.
No, but just any of the things where it's like they found him underneath a tree and a tiger had raised him. It's like, that probably didn't happen.
His father is a
successful farmer. Yeah. His farmer's quite like a Thatcherite, right? Which is quite interesting. He's a pull yourself up by your bootstraps. He grew up really poor. He became, in a very poor area, one of the better peasant farmers with a better plot of land, with 3 cows as opposed to 2, right? But then he was really tough on Mao because he didn't want him growing up spoiled. And it is funny, the idea of spoiled, because I guess if he's doing quite well for there, spoiled is like, I don't know, sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
You don't want him to grow up.
Fucking bourgeois.
It's like Sweet 16. You don't want him to grow up like bratty and entitled.
with a soft chair to sit on.
He was a smart boy, did well at school, loved reading about history, politics and stuff. One thing he hated, absolutely hated, was science, right?
Right.
He was chucking his Bunsen burners out the window. He couldn't stand it.
I hated science, to be fair.
You and Mao.
Me and Mao.
You know? And I think that's because he thinks it's all about what you could see and lived experience. He thinks all this sort of scientific theory stuff is all bollocks. Absolute bollocks.
Can you get a photo of Mao as a young man up? Because
young Stalin's hot.
Yeah.
Young Stalin is famously hot.
Thirst trap Stalin.
Because I wonder if so young Hitler wasn't hot. Hitler was never hot. So young Stalin, look at that.
It's like Zayn Malik. I've seen that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Look at that hair.
Makes sense.
Gorgeous.
What's young Mao bring to the table? Okay, he's a sweet-looking boy.
Because I would say, real baby face.
Yeah.
I would say that possibly one of the reasons that Mao isn't up there in the popular imagination with Hitler and Stalin is because he looks such a chubby funster.
Well, he's got real cheeks. You really want to just go and like Hitler, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're avoiding that guy, aren't you? Yeah.
But Mao is just
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a little Mao teddy bear.
I reckon he'd hate that.
He'd absolutely hate that.
Yeah. So Mao's got big chubby cheeks, and he's always. I also think it's probably a Western stereotype of the happy Chinese man that basically means they don't quite appreciate how horrific he was.
So do you think part of the reason there's such a suppression of his crimes is everyone just thought he was like he was like a Buddha outside a Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, basically, or like the cat waving like that. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's just a happy, chubby, fun guy," and he's always smiling in all his photos that he obviously controls. Yeah. But then Hitler's just, and everyone's like, "This guy chill out a bit." He's so angry, whereas Mao is so calm,
Yeah.
and definitely more more of a psycho.
Do you think? Well, that's a good question. We don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out, but I'm pretty sure. So I think when it says here early life, attend local schools, he's definitely like cutting up bats and shit.
Yes. Yeah.
He's starting COVID.
Yeah, and he's doing that.
He's fucked a few pangolins, I reckon.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
So, but he's cutting up things. He reads a lot. That's the main thing about Mao, isn't it? He's always in his room reading.
Yeah.
And his dad's like, fuck off.
Are you a queer?
Yeah, his dad thinks he's queer. Look at those cheekbones.
Yeah.
You read 2 books, you'll probably be queer. But it's basically everyone's peasants, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and there's an emperor.
So to place it, China is in its like lowest ebb historically for a long, long time. This was coming just after their century.
What, now?
No, at this point.
In the early 1900s?
Yeah.
Right, so I would say, I don't want to spoiler alert, but I'd say it's just low ebb after low ebb for the next 100 years. Yeah.
But there was the century of humiliation. You know about all of that?
Yes.
So the context to which Mao comes in is that China is like one of the oldest nation in the world, probably continuity-wise. Like you go back in China 5,000 years, and there's a continuity between modern China and old China, which you don't really have. Maybe in India, but you don't really have that anywhere else. Like, for example, the Greeks, you're like, that's an old civilization. You go back, there's no continuity between the fat guy in the chair and the guy in the statue, right? They're a different type of people. It's changed because of, you know.
I'd say Greece stopped changing 2,000 years ago.
But so China is the oldest nation. It's been the most powerful nation, ups and downs, but it's been at its real low when the Brits got them fucked on opium during the Opium Wars.
Yeah.
And what they refer to now as the century of humiliation, which is the 1800s.
Right.
So even though they're an old people who have at times been the number one, up and down, they've had their worst ebb because we got them all fucked on opium, which is something I'm very scared about now because the century of humiliation is a huge thing that Xi Jinping still talks about. It's in the cultural memory as the most embarrassed they've ever been.
And they're now getting us fucked on TikTok.
Yeah, and they haven't been like aggressively rude to us, but once they've taken over, I think we're one of the first to go. We're going to get punished.
I'd say TikTok is the new opium, and that is exactly what they're doing.
Oh, is
they're just rotting our brains.
What do you think? We'll look back at this as our century of humiliation.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, fully, 100%.
Everyone's just dancing with. It's all the families dancing.
It's the families, and then these are the cultural centre. We need a cultural revolution. We need to kill all the dancing families.
They look back at the opium dens in like Shanghai, and
everyone's
that's
just
our
like
century of humiliation.
Yeah.
We're going to look back at
the family on TikTok.
That was our century.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I think they've just reversed it. I think it's genius.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
so they're at their weakest, which is what the China that Mao enters is a very different China.
Just to give a bit, so the Opium Wars, we'll probably do an episode on it, but Britain is in its sort of imperial pomp, and
it's like a global mafia boss.
It's basically getting opium from Afghanistan and what's then the British Raj, and then it's moving it to China, selling it, and that's how it gets Hong Kong, basically.
Basically, yeah. It was more like a lot of the worst atrocities from the Brits. It's when we don't get the tea we want.
Yes.
So China tried to strong arm Britain.
So we swapped heroin for tea.
Yeah.
Christ, that's a bad deal.
No, we were giving silver for tea because we need lots of tea to keep everyone happy at home because everyone's just holy fucking
don't even speak to me until I've had my tea.
Remember, now tea's so easy to get.
Yeah.
It's PG tips.
Yeah.
You just think that's a given.
Yeah.
But imagine it was a rare commodity. Imagine all those British people gathering at the docks.
Yeah.
Going, where the fuck is my tea?
Yeah. No, terrifying.
Because you're assuming it's a privilege now. So you're But if no one has it, they're going, everyone's petition. You know how like in Israel, the people talking about the hostages, free the hostages. It's that sort of level.
There's tea in the tunnels. They're in the tunnels.
We need to get our tea.
Yeah.
And I think one Chinese emperor tried to strong arm and say, like, I want a better price for the tea we're giving you. And so then we just started selling opium and just
we were like fuck silver, check this shit out.
Yeah. And then that's how we got Hong Kong.
So anyway, but they're annoyed by this when Mao's born.
Yeah.
And so
it's more that they just don't have a lot of a stake at the moment. It's very is very third world at this point.
Yeah.
Globally, they have industrialization's completely passed them by. Japan's on the rise.
Yes.
It's just a huge country of peasant farmers mainly. Right?
Yes.
That's sort of the only context.
And like 4 cities, but they're all junked out on opium.
Yeah.
The 4 cities are like 70s New York.
Yeah. And they're like, it can't possibly get worse. Well, let's
Hold
have a look.
hold my rice wine. Hold my Tsingtao. It's going to get worse. So,
right, he's inspired by the 1911 Qinghai Revolution,
Here we
which
go.
ended the Qing dynasty.
Qing dynasty.
What is the Qinghai Revolution? Do you know about that at all?
No.
No idea.
Oh, is that Chiang Kai-shek?
Yes, maybe.
Now, people who've listened to every episode of this podcast will know that in my third year at university, I did do a unit on late 19th century, early 20th century Chinese history.
Oh, nice.
And I made up names
yeah.
and dates because I fancied a girl and didn't really want to be there. And it was incredibly boring.
What was the Qing? Can you look up the Qinghai Revolution?
That is, so this is the overthrow of the emperor.
So there's been emperors for thousands and thousands
and
of
get
years.
a photo off of an emperor. An emperor in my head has got big old walrus moustache.
Yeah.
Big hairy moustache and sort of like a nice hat. Oh no.
The final Chinese emperor is a fascinating story though.
Yeah.
So this is the last one, but I know the emperor you're thinking of.
Yeah.
And we'll get photos of those ones because we don't even need to see them. You've
God,
already
this guy's. I mean,
do you know the story of the last emperor?
I think that guy hot desks in Hoxton. His glasses.
So the last emperor, basically, he was like 6 years old when all the revolution was kicking off. And
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That guy's not hot desking. That guy's on a ceramic. He's on a ceramic frog in my nan's living room.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, I'd like him occasionally. I feel like I would have to be like, can you stop giving me wisdom?
Yeah,
like for 1 second.
just 1 second.
Can we just have a normal chat?
Can we have a laugh? The snake that does not. No, stop talking about snakes. Just do you want a pint?
Do it like once a year. Like the key
moment.
moment.
Do you want a pint? It's my round. The snake who does not drink first. No, fuck off. Right.
But did you not know about the last emperor? There's that film by Bertolucci about the.
I didn't go to film school. I went to proper university.
But it's basically like.
I'm the one. I'm anchoring this podcast because I'm the one that actually knows about history.
So he was like 6 years old.
Is he called Pooey? Just the last emperor a bit Pooey, and that's why he had to go.
Yeah, that is.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
So he was raised as an emperor with all of the trimmings of growing up.
Yeah.
So in the Forbidden City, a life of luxury, right?
Yes. I've been to the
and
Forbidden
then
City.
either this revolution or the Chinese Communist Revolution, whatever one kicked out the emperors from the Forbidden City, probably was this one.
I think it was this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they kicked him out.
Yeah.
And so because no information really came into the Forbidden City, right?
Yes.
They had no Wi-Fi in there.
And there was
they didn't really know what was going on.
The postal address was just the Forbidden City. It's like, well, if I can't go in there, can I?
Yeah. So delivery was always a nightmare because you had to write like a long note.
Call me when you get there. You're at what gate? Oh fuck, that's literally a mile away.
But then when the revolution happened, he gets turned into a normal citizen, right? They don't kill him, but they just make him a normal citizen, right? And then he becomes like a gardener for the rest of his life.
Really?
And like a pretty peaceful, sound guy who grew up for the first 14 years. He was being bathed by maids and stuff, and then just became a normal guy for the last 50 years. I don't know if he was the gardener of the Forbidden City. He might have but he just became a normal guy.
So the Xinhai Revolution, 1911.
They finally find their way in.
They finally get into the city. They leave the front door unlocked and they get in and they get rid of the Qing dynasty, and this establishes the Republic of China. So it's a nationalist takeover.
So right wing, but modern ish.
Yeah, so it's I guess it's
take
like
that fucking hat off.
Yeah,
put this hat on. Right.
It's the French Revolution, but it's China.
Yeah,
basically. This is when basically the imperial dynasty stops, and now the next 50 years will be defined by a battle between nationalists and communists, which is the same in the rest of the world, really, in this part of the 20th century.
But it's just like the size of China means that it's always
China. We haven't done it yet. China
means it's so hard to kind of conceptualize because everything just takes so long.
It's a big country. China's a big country,
and that it feels like the armies are
great
moving
people,
about.
Lovely rice. Sorry. So yeah, Chiang Kai-shek was a founding member of the KMT, which is the Kuomintang.
Okay.
And that's one of the national parties.
Right.
Fuck it, who cares?
Who cares?
What happens next? Mao. So he's inspired by this, or that this awakens him, and he's right there at the beginning, 1921. He founds the Chinese Communist Party.
But at the time, it's like I guess it's in the because of the Russian Revolution and that stuff's going on.
Yeah, so Russian Revolution is
1917. Yeah.
Yeah, and Russia is China's neighbour, lest we forget.
Yeah.
Christ, wouldn't want to live on that street.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for Mongolia.
My God, yeah. Fucking hell. Either side. Cunts to the left of me.
It's the
twats to
most
the right.
sparsely populated country in the world. No wonder.
Yeah, fucking left. So the things my neighbours do to cabbage on both sides is horrific.
But Mongolia is it's like the worst case of being a third wheeler.
Yes,
you're in that couple who what is this? Is going on a date, not with the couple who are over lovey-dovey, the ones who just won't stop arguing.
Yeah,
and they need to break up, and then you're just kind of awkwardly sat there.
So he founds the Chinese Communist Party, which is kind of mad that he then is the Communist Party for 60 years.
Co-found, so I think he was part of the because he wasn't like the big dog at the beginning.
No, he's one of the boys.
He's one of the boys,
right? So basically, he's a well-read. Spoiled little gay farmer's boy, and he's a he/him, he/him,
Mao Zedong,
and he's inspired by the uprising of the nationalists.
And it felt like this civil war wasn't. It felt it could have gone either way, right?
So let's paint a picture, because obviously the 20s in Berlin are, celebrated as a very kind of fucky time.
Yeah.
Everyone's fucking, everyone's in cabarets, burlesque.
Right.
The Chinese 20s are not like this.
No.
No one's fucking because everyone's dying, I think.
Yeah.
The Chinese Civil War begins on
it's not very Great Gatsby, the 20s here. It's not swinging at all.
No one's swinging. The music's
they're swinging
all
from bridges.
Yeah, they're hanging. They're being lynched. But because as a country, it's got no infrastructure.
Yeah.
So it goes on for fucking ages.
This is what I mean.
Because no one can get anywhere.
This period, because normally it's a small map and you can see people moving around, but they don't meet for like 3 years because they just keep. It'll spend like a year getting to one side of the country. Be like, what do you mean they're not here?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll go back there.
Where they go? There's a revolution on, and there's peasants going. What? Yeah, it is. They're playing Snake. Yeah. Well, Mao was born in the year of the snake. That's a fact. That's a fact I learned.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. What is the year of the snake? When it's Chinese year of the whatever.
What year were you born in?
I was 1990, the year communism fell. I think that makes that makes sense, doesn't it?
The walls just come down.
The walls come down. I come out.
You were inside the wall.
Yeah. I was born too late. I would have loved to bash some commies.
That would have been really fun.
Yeah,
well, I'd be bashing the wall down, not.
Yeah. The Chinese year of the animal refers to I know this, but what is the so similar traits to the animals that year? Right. So he's a snake.
He's a bit of a snake.
He's a big snake. He's a big old boy. He's a big snake who likes fucking.
Yeah, I guess he's not the most underhand guy.
So hang on,
because like a snake is someone who's just in the shadows. Like he's pretty.
Yeah, he's pretty outwardly about it. And also towards the end, so in the sort of 60s, the image that we all know of Mao, when he's a big guy, big
Mao
boy,
we know and
he looks
love.
like a snake that's just eating a goat.
Yeah,
so big belly.
He's a python.
Yeah,
what was it? Anaconda.
Yeah,
I think I'm the year of the bull.
Really?
Yeah,
I think that's giving you a lot of credit. When I went to the school I went to, there was lots of Chinese students.
You're the horse.
Yeah. Big cock. Big strong horse cock. That's me.
Big cock.
If I was Red Indian, I'm gonna call little big red cock. Little big red cock.
You've always got posh girls on your back.
Yeah. Always got posh girls on my back. And eventually, I'll be made into glue. So, what year were you born?
I was born in 1997.
97. Christ.
So that when we gave back Hong Kong, the end of the British Empire.
There you go. That makes sense. Bookended perfectly. Ox.
Ox.
You're a worker.
I said bull.
No,
ox
you're an ox. Ox is way worse. You're dragging things.
Yeah. Oh, come on, yeah, because there's also within that, there's the year of the pig, right?
Yeah.
There's also the year of the dragon. It's like, can we make it fair? You can't have some people born in the year of the dragon and then some people born in the year of the pig.
If a girl was born in the year of the pig, is that just straight away the parents are like, well, she's never getting fucking married?
In the bin.
In the bin, in the river.
Girl, she was in there anyway.
Yeah, you were in the...
It If we're gonna have a girl, she can't be fat with the one-child policy.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have to wait to conceive her until the year of the hot fox, whatever it's called.
Year of the MILF.
Born in the year of the MILF. So anyway, so he's born. He's a snake.
Yeah.
He's a python. Civil War starts in 1927, and this is when the Communist Party's become enough of a force.
Yeah.
And they're being funded by Russia, I think.
Sure. I found this bit really hard to understand.
Yeah.
This 10 years is a really tricky one because it takes too long and it seemingly 4 bullet points happen in 10 years.
In 10 years, yeah. Here we go. Punch in. Sporadic battles as the CCP built its rural base.
Right.
Yeah,
so you can't have one bullet point that's 10 years and it says sporadic battles. That's pretty much it.
That's what it is. But it's essentially the communists go to villages and they try and tell people about communism, and these people don't really understand that they are in a country called China.
Well, at this point, they're very much the swing state voter.
Yeah.
Is the person who's never left his village, one tooth. Yeah. You know, all he knows is chickens. That's it.
Yeah. And then a guy with a gun turns up and says, "Give me your chickens." He goes,
well, it's just more, who can get there first? Because he hasn't even heard an idea yet.
No.
And you're the first idea he's heard.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, it's a real scramble for those kind of swing state voters.
So he spends 10 years just basically on a
He's
tour.
going through Iowa. He's going, these are the real...
Rural China. Christ. I mean, he's persistent. That's got to be fucking boring.
And they didn't have high-speed trains at this point.
No, or cars.
Yeah, so I think it was a lot of just climbing over rocks and that.
Yeah. So, but he builds a rural... I mean, it's like... I guess it's like local councillors, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've really just got to knock on doors.
Yeah.
So he's knocking on doors, but are they doors? What are they? What are they in huts?
Yeah, I think...
Mud
I
huts?
think it's more like when you walk through a...
Bead curtain. So all these Chinese peasants, they've been travelling to India... and they've come back, and
right on, man.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, sure.
Communist revolution.
Yeah,
right
whatever.
On,
it's groovy. So he whips up these peasants, and then again at some point, Japan invades China,
which is
it's
arguably
31.
Okay.
So right, I think I can steer us through this bit.
Fine.
I think what happens.
It feels like we're going through rural China at the moment.
It really does.
Wait, which way do we come from?
It's just desert. And then every now and then someone gives you some rice and goes, huh? And you go, who the fuck are you? It's like a David Lynch film, this, rural China. Just So Japan, which is, as you said, is militarizing very quickly. Onto that.
Japan is an autistic guy who's just come out of his mum's basement.
Yeah.
And he's causing absolute havoc.
He's spent 20 years collecting katana swords.
Because he's been, for 1,000 years, they've been completely isolationist, right?
Yeah.
Not speaking to anyone, no mates.
Yeah.
And then they've just decided
That's right.
all at once to become a fucking mega power.
Yeah. So Japan.
And they're looking over at China. China's hooked on opium.
Yeah, it's fucked.
So now is the time.
Japan is like the ultimate incel army.
Yeah.
And they've got incel weapons, swords, nunchucks.
Yeah.
Those, I mean, that's
They're almost too autistic for the Nazis.
Yeah,
the Nazis
exactly.
Are like, this is fucking...
We better be on their team. I don't want to be behind them.
Yeah.
Japan invade Manchuria in 1931, and they do it with a false flag attack.
Okay.
Which is they get one of their own boys to bomb a railway.
But they have got a different flag on. They got the pride flag.
What?
What's a false flag? Is
I see what you mean. Right, yeah. So they erect a pride flag, and again, China's like, what even is a gay person? I don't know what that is. And then Japan fucking, before you know it, they've just launched into a full-scale invasion of Manchuria on mainland China. And then I think there's something about the communists and the nationalists wanting to work together.
Yeah,
for a bit.
I think that Japan invades in 1937, I believe.
No, Manchuria's 31.
Fine.
There you go. Japan did in 31.
Okay.
False flag event at Mukden, the Mukden incident.
So what's a false flag?
Yeah, what is a false? Because you hear about Putin.
Yeah, that's false flag is when you do something.
It's I punch you and I go, stop hitting me. You hit me. Now we're at war.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's that.
So you attack yourself and then blame the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
Stop hitting yourself. It's that, I think. False flag incident is a political action that's intended to make it look like someone else is responsible. The goal is to deceive an enemy and gain a military advantage.
But people say real fucking... even cunts even more boring than us, Finn, would say that the Second World War actually started in 1937. right?
Well, there's the same people that say that the World War III's already started.
Yeah, I guess so.
I hate those people.
It's like Trump's Hitler.
Oh, like like the war, the war in Ukraine. Well, the war in Ukraine, World War III's already begun. Actually,
Those guys are saying.
I watched this TikTok the other day of World War III. It was along these lines. World War III's already began, and this is what's going to happen. And so Serbia uses the America and Iran start going at each other. Russia goes into like the Baltics, and in my head I'm like, yeah, okay, that's one step ahead. I can see where they're going. Serbia kicks off. Okay, yeah, that's a tinderbox. Blah blah blah, and then it goes. Britain seeks more territory and invades Ireland. And I go, no, mate, you have got this completely wrong. We don't want the bog people anymore. We're out of there. We're sorry. We fucked up.
Sorry.
We don't want it anymore. We can barely look.
We like Guinness. We think you're fun.
We're barely holding on to the Scots. We don't want. We just want to die in peace. Please leave us alone. We're not taking Ireland. You're fucking mad.
Yeah, no country more back hurts than Britain.
Britain's fucked.
Britain back is so much
Britain
pain.
just wants to sit down and die quietly.
You know, when they wheeled Muhammad Ali out for the end of the one of the Olympics.
I think they're going to do that for. He's going to fight Jake Paul, I think.
Okay. But when they've got him out, he's got Parkinson's, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Him coming out, that's what Britain is.
That's Britain's now. Britain now.
Do you remember all that amazing stuff he did? Well, he's not doing it now.
Yeah, and everyone's watching like, don't make him do this. Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Oh yeah, here he is. He's lighting a camp. I mean, oh god, it's.
This is Britain on the world stage.
Yeah, Britain on the world stage is Muhammad Ali shaking, holding the Olympic torch, and everyone's like, he didn't need to do this.
Right, I actually didn't know how bad his Parkinson's was. Actually, I just thought he was old. I didn't know he was actually very visibly suffering from Parkinson's.
Oh, what, you feeling bad now? You feeling bad about that riff?
Okay, yeah,
he's really shaking. Yeah,
like,
take it off. Put it away. Put it away. Put it away.
It was a bit real.
Right, so you want to talk about real, mate?
Yeah.
Fucking Chinese Civil War.
Yeah, let's get real.
So Japan invades. Right, they come over the border. The nationalists and the communists, they're not working together yet.
Okay.
So they're basically just seizing territory because there's no defense. And then at some point, and this is the first instance of Mao's skill for branding.
Well, yeah, he's like he would be a great advertiser back in the day. The reason why the reason why he looks so cuddly, is because he's like a girl going out on a night out, getting her boyfriend to take pictures of her. Take a picture. Let me see. No, delete that. Delete that.
Stand up. Not from below. Never from below.
You know, just it's 40 minutes.
Mao is side on like this.
Looking. No, I hate all of these.
Yeah, delete.
Oh my god.
So like when you go on holiday and you're on the beach and there's some poor cunt with his girlfriend's phone and his girlfriend's just stood in the sea like and he's just like, fuck this.
That's everyone else at the Communist Party to Mao.
That's the country of China. And the girl is Mao.
Mao's posing for paintings.
Yeah.
And then being like, no, delete that.
No, make me shinier and happier. So Mao
it's all
then,
about branding.
But it's basically, as we've said, this bit, very boring. Who the fuck knows or really cares?
Yeah.
What happens is that the communists are about to be defeated by the nationalists in the mid-30s, and Mao does a retreat.
Yes.
But what he calls it is the Long March.
I mean, this is when Mao's genius really starts coming through.
He's like, we're not running away.
It's sort of like the Dunkirk thing that we've done.
Totally.
Which is a complete defeat, selling it as a victory. Right?
Yeah.
But this is even more so.
This is crazy. So he's basically on his knees. The whole communists are on his knees. And then, they retreat to northwest China. But they just call it the Long March to Freedom, is it?
Yeah.
The Long Walk?
Yeah.
No, we're not running.
The Long Walk to Freedom is the Long March to Freedom is Mandela, isn't it? I think this is just the Long March.
Long Walk to Freedom.
Yeah.
This is the Long March, and they basically walk across China for years.
Which takes ages.
Takes fucking ages. Yeah. And it must be really boring because there's nothing there.
And then they find this place in northwest China called Gunan.
It's called Yanan. It's called Yanan.
Which is a kind of like...
They go to Yanan's house.
Yeah, they go to Yanan's house.
She's like, oh, come house. You're right, lad. We love our Nan.
So they're kind of up in the mountains. They're sort of like Al-Qaeda up in the mountains.
Yeah, they go
build
to the
like
hills.
A base there.
Tora Bora.
And there they start basically developing their ideas.
So the march lasted over a year, involved around 100,000 soldiers. Despite facing famine, disease, and constant attacks, the communists led by Mao eventually reached the northern province of Shanxi. Yeah, so, but in Yanan, they basically start a commune, right?
But it's not It's not the kind of chilled communes you'd see in like California.
No.
It's not guys with white dreadlocks singing Kumbaya.
He's a bit Manson family.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Yeah, it's very intense.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people being put to death. Like a lot of young people go there because they're excited. So, oh, it's gonna be sick. And then it sucks.
Yeah.
And if they want to lead, then they get brutally killed. And Mao starts showing his psychotic side here.
Yeah, because doesn't Mao be like, oh, we should all share our ideas.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? And then they say something. And he goes, yeah, that's interesting. I reckon we should kill you.
Immediately.
Yeah, kill him immediately.
That's brilliant, mate. I love all the work you've been doing to make sure he never sees the light of day.
And
kill his family as well.
Yeah. Have you heard about the way they torture people?
Yeah, go on.
So I can't remember what this is called. Is this called something to do with tiger? Yeah. Anyway, you sat on a bench and you're with your back to a wall.
Yeah.
And then they tie your ankles to the bench with like a leather belt.
And they tell a really boring story.
About rural China, and you end up killing yourself. And then Mao basically recounts the long walk and everyone he ever saw on the way, and the guy just goes, kill me! And then we went through Chongqing, and then we went through Guangzhou, and then we stopped for some rice wine in Wuhan, and then we went here. Yeah. No, they place bricks underneath your knees to the point where your knees break. Because it's just like stacking, building a tower.
Because I heard about this, and for some reason it doesn't quite make sense, but I guess there is an amount of bricks you do, and your legs
you're sat like this, right? So your knees are
that's quite comfortable,
flush.
Isn't it? Huh? That's all right.
This is how I sit at home.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, if you stop there, that's quite nice.
That's quite nice. And then but your ankles aren't moving.
Yeah.
And then they're just adding bricks here.
Well, okay, that's
so
all right.
It's that. It's that. Right, which
it was comfortable before. Actually, no, that's all right.
This is horrible. If you try to sit like this, no. I'd like running legs down, please. Ow. Yeah. That's just a little portrait of the of how.
You know what? I'd absolutely hate that.
Yeah, I think it's quite bad by all accounts.
Right.
But he tortures people. But this is where it's meant to be like a sort of what's it called? Model village of what he wants China to be. Is Yanan.
But and here he develops his ideas, which is kind of. Mao is the biggest proponent of Mao takes the idea you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs further than anyone has ever taken it in human history, right?
In Mao's head, Mao cannot make an omelette without killing 1,000 chickens. Chairman Mao's omelette involves thousands of dead birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what's Maoism? It's just you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs.
Yeah.
That is
it's
him
literally
to a T.
And the eggs are Chinese people, and the omelette, who cares? He just wants to kill people.
He's got motivational quotes all around his room. It's just you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs.
It's like The Shining. He's just painting all work and no play, but it's omelette, eggs,
and
omelette.
I think this is what kind of when we're having goat conversations, we're talking Hitler, Stalin. This is when Mao really comes into his own, is that he actively says, I'll happily kill over half the population to achieve my goals.
Yeah,
what are your goals? To kill over half the population? Well, you probably have to do that then, yeah.
There's a story where during the Korean War, or maybe it's the Japan War,
sure.
I don't know. But as we've said, Korea is just a sort of slightly softer.
Yeah.
It's Japan who's eating slightly more fibre.
Right.
One of them is invading, and Mao's is commanding a force that's fighting them. And his tactic is, just keep marching until they run out of bullets, because we've got more men than them. And it gets to the point where his son is about to march, and Mao goes, well, I'm not changing tactics. It's clearly working. Fucking, and he just sends his son to basically just die because he sees people as important as bullets. Which,
I mean, he's taken this a lot too far, but I think the kind of more Asian view of looking at, like, it's a much more communal view of these things, right?
Well, like co-sleeping.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But here it's a lot more about the individual and the kind of like your personal liberties and stuff.
And being alive.
Yeah. And then like, because like Japanese troops, there's stories of like, for their commanding officers, soldiers would lie down in puddles so the commanding officer could walk over them. Like, it's just.
I do that with my wife.
It's the only way she can get across.
Yeah. So this is later on, this is in the 50s, but Mao essentially, I mean, do you think that Mao's goat status has not happened because there's more Chinese people, and so the numbers look.
It's hard to get your head around the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we're totaling it up, it's like
high estimates of just the Great Leap Forward, which is his.
We'll do that next episode.
That's peak Mao. That's Mao at his his strong. That's 90s Jordan, right?
Yeah,
Great forward. At his highest, it's 55 million.
Yeah,
right?
and it's somewhere between 20 and 55 million.
Yeah.
Hitler's responsible for what, 8?
Yeah, no, because you probably World War II is probably his fault, right? So
what are we saying? Overall, from around 40 to 70.
Yeah.
But again, you can't really. There's no comprehensive records.
Exactly.
It's like Puskás.
Yeah.
He's apparently he was amazing. Or Pelé. Pelé scores all these goals in Brazil. Be like, there was no fucking.
Or an African footballer.
George Ware.
It's like it doesn't. You don't have their birth certificates. You have no idea how old they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting bogged down in the goat league tables.
Yeah. He's at the commune.
He's at the commune
saying, everyone, this is a new future, share as many ideas as you like, and then anyone who shares an idea, he breaks their legs.
He breaks their legs, yeah. By telling them stories about the long walk, big walk he went on.
Yeah.
He's also, he's in this commune, these are his peak fucking years. Because Mao loves Tang.
Yes, he does.
Mao is
not to be confused with the Tang dynasty.
Yes, which was he hates them. He loves Poontang, which is not, again, that's not another character in the story. He loves vagina.
And he loves it till the day he dies. He really, it's a consistent thing with Mao. He really believes that he'll be on a train and he'll just see an attractive woman and say, she's going to be one of my... You're next. And he thinks it keeps him young, constantly busting nuts.
He writes theories about busting nuts.
And
He's sort of like Andrew Tate in a way. He also doesn't believe... he knowingly has STDs and fucks women and gives them STDs. And then somehow... they see it as a badge of honour.
Yeah. They're like, it's brilliant.
Listen, at some point, you have to say, girls, take some responsibility. Like, I get it, patriarchy, but for fuck's sake. Like,
yeah, but it's like, we're all insecure, right? Everyone's got self-esteem issues, but you can't be wearing someone's STD as a badge of honour.
Don't wear Mao's fucking Chinese AIDS as a badge of honour. He's deliberately giving you Chinese AIDS or whatever.
But that's how good he is at branding. That girls are queuing up to get chlamydia from Mao.
He's the greatest ad man that's ever lived. He can.
He's Don Draper.
He is Don Draper. Yeah.
Just in a different era.
Different era.
Yeah.
So there's this commune, and he's got several girls on the go. He's killing people who disagree with him, and then.
But this whole period, the Long March, because. Communism, it kind of year zero's history. Certainly Russian communism, Chinese communism. It's more like we're starting again.
Yeah.
Everything that happened before is pointless and rubbish.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that, you need myths and stuff that you can hang things on, right? So if you have religion, in Christianity we have the myth of Christ, Jesus. You can build whole churches around it.
A long walk.
But that's why, because you're year zeroing it, they don't have anything else to talk about.
Right.
So the big myth, the thing, if you're going to paint a mural, where it's like you can only do what happened 10 minutes ago, that means that all of the iconography and the long walk is such a key myth for the building of China still. And like your place as a legend is like how close to the long walk you were.
How close to the front you were on the long walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Christ.
So that's like a really big part. You know, where were you? Right.
Yeah, right. So, but anyway, basically, Japan and China have a full-scale war. Mm-hmm. There's the Japanese...
If you were there, you'd have no idea what was going on.
I'd be like, are the guys invading the Shishir guys? Where are the where are they? What's happening over there? So it's a civil war to my mind. No, so Japan invades China, and still to this day, they do not get on about this period of history.
Oh yeah,
37 to 45.
Yeah,
this is a front on the Second World War. It's China-Japan. Never really discussed because we weren't really doing anything about it.
If British autistic guys can't paint something of that in their shed,
yes,
if there's no like tank or plane for them to paint, then it's not getting brought up.
No, not getting brought up. Who cares? Well, it's just cherry trees versus rickshaws, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, there's the rape of Nanking, which I think
we're going to cover that.
We'll do that on the Patreon because I think just the title YouTube will probably have an issue with. But anyway, Japan and China fucking hate each other.
Right.
Still, because of this war, loads of people dead. And we get to 1945, Japan, big bomb, night, good night, see you later.
Yeah.
done, finished,
Yeah, yeah.
finished now, you're done, no more.
Lights out.
Lights out, night-night. I'm shutting the door. Can you leave it open a bit?
Yeah.
Night-night.
Japan
Done.
gets sent to bed with no supper.
No tea for Japan. Naughty Japan. Have a second bomb. I'm done.
And then anime was born.
And then anime, and that's the history of Japan. Is that what we're talking about? That's what this episode's about, isn't it? History of Japan? So, 1945, then this basically, after this senseless slaughter, Japan, China, for years, there's peace, and the Chinese go, right, now we can finally get on with back to what we were doing, which is killing each other. Yeah. So the Civil War starts again, nationalists versus communists,
Right.
and then it doesn't take long, 4 years maybe, and communists dick on the nationalists.
Right. Because they've just been waiting, pumping irons in that compound, right?
Yeah, yeah,
they've been getting stronger and stronger.
They're getting ripped.
Yeah.
And then I don't really know whether they were working together to fight Japan. I don't really know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I found this bit really hard to understand.
I mean, when you talk about Mao, you're sort of skipping this bit to get to the 50s, really.
And the next episode we're going to be talking.
So the next episode we'll talk about the Great Leap Forward, and it may be 3 parts because he's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Anyway, that episode, if it is 2 episodes, those episodes are all on the Patreon now. You can become a truther and get access to everything at once, and a weekly bonus episode on a Friday. Thanks for listening, and I can't imagine. I imagine we will have lost some people in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But either way, we'll see you next time.
You can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs.
You cannot make an omelette without breaking some listeners' moral boundaries. Good night.
See you next week.